Welcome everyone to another video. If you're new here, my name is Laura and a very big welcome to my channel. Otherwise, if you're returning, it is lovely to see you guys here as usual. So that little drone footage clip that I just played for you, that's my current location, basically in the middle of Outback, Queensland. So you are back in for another Outback adventure, but today obviously the sun's setting. I'm not sure if you could tell from that. It's a little bit late to be starting a clip, but you know what guys, it's very important because today I'm doing something a little bit different and I'm going to actually take you on a ghost town tour at night. But before that, I have to explain where I am. So at the moment I'm actually at the Mary Kathleen abandoned mine site. So as you guys know, this area I've been exploring has a whole lot of mining history. It's been super interesting and the roads have been super bad, but I've just trekked myself up here as you just saw. I don't even want to talk about the drive up here. There are so many rocks. I don't know how I'm gonna get back down, but I did get up here. So basically I drove off the highway and I've headed up past the Mary Kathleen abandoned town site where I'll be going back to tonight, and I'm actually headed up the hill towards the abandoned quarry. Now you may have seen pictures of this. It's got the most incredible blue color. So I'm about to drive over there now, but I thought guys, I had just got to show you this view first. It's absolutely incredible. This is where I'm standing essentially now, just overlooking that. So basically, being an abandoned town, there was all this beautiful bitumen road. There's all these concrete slabs still standing. You can see the town center. Everything's still there. Really weird. But basically abandoned after the mining was no longer profitable. So there are good sections of road and there are really bad sections of road. So I've got up here, but now I'm about to drive myself over there and then I'll tell you guys a bit more about this mine. So this is the little track I'm following. God knows if it's literally even the right way because there is no signs out here. Well, there is from the town centre. So once you leave the town centre, there is a sign saying Mary Kathleen abandoned mine or mine this way or something like that. Actually, there we go. I can see the mine in the distance. So it is the right way, but there's so many forks in the road. Okay, so I have just driven on out here. The fact that my tyres are still up is probably a miracle, but I mean, well worth it, I think, since we had to get out here. But I'm just headed over to the mine now. The road does go like a tiny little bit further, but it's more like a turnaround sort of parking bay here. And then I can look over the mine. I'm actually really excited because the water looks incredible from pictures I've seen and I've heard lots about it, but I've obviously never been here myself, so exciting to see. But as well, I have been to like a quarry at home. I did a video on it actually. It's called Beck's Hill Quarry if you want to go watch it, and it has incredible blue water as well from the mineral content, and I'm just expecting this to be a much bigger, really beautiful version, I think. So let's have a look. So this is just that track over to the mine. Like you can see all the mine cuttings there. So obviously if you are driving, you would still have to walk this little bit. Okay, so to be honest, I'm walking and looking down here and the water doesn't look blue. It might be because of like the time of day with the sun on it though. It just looks really shiny. Every picture I've seen, it's like bright blue. But have a look at this, I'll show you what I mean. So this is obviously all the cuttings of the mine, but this is the water that's supposed to be like fluoro blue, which just does not look fluoro blue. Actually, hang on, have a look down in the corner here and you do get that real blue color. See that? That's what I'm talking about. I think I must have honestly just come at exactly the wrong time of day. Okay, so now that I'm out here overlooking the mine, I know that I did tell you I would tell you a bit more about it, and unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this, but I don't know a great deal about it, and I kind of expected there to be a whole bunch of signs out here telling me, which there is not. There is also no fences, no anything, no sign even to where basically the mine was, so we're just sort of winging it. I can tell you, however, that this was a uranium mine and it was basically abandoned along with the township, I think, once it was no longer profitable. So I can tell you, absolutely don't swim in this. It's going to be really toxic because of the uranium metal and mineral levels in the water. Again, a bit different to Beck's Hill, the one I was talking about before from back home in New South Wales. But as well, the name Mary Kathleen, it was after the wife of a guy who discovered the ore here, essentially. So it is named after a real person. The name Mary Kathleen sort of stuck, I guess, and hence the name Mary Kathleen for the township as well. So it's about 6 k's from the town out to here. So might as well, before the sun sets, have a bit more of a look around here. I will show you from a bit further down and just check it out while I'm here. So I have walked basically just right around to the other side of the quarry, obviously starting from over there, making my way along this bank. But if you have a look now, see where the shadows are, and this is coming up horribly on my phone, but see how beautiful and blue that water is. That is what it would normally be like over there as well. It's literally just the shadows at the moment, so not ideal timing, I'm very sorry, but really beautiful spot. I'm very glad I did get to check it out. I think it is very similar, as I said, to that one at home, not in all this mine cutting like in the face, but in the actual water and that beautiful blue color. So a really gorgeous spot, I think. But I think just about with the sun going down over there, it's time for me to head back. So I'm going to drive back and I'm going to show you a little bit of that road. Right, so obviously just down to my left is where that uranium mine is. I've got to head back this way. Couldn't tell you, unfortunately, what the tracks up there are actually like, and I'm very sorry about my dirty windscreen. As I said, I've been out bush camping basically for the last few days. I've been on dirt roads, been on tracks like this, so you're just going to have to bear with me, unfortunately. So as I said, this section is about 6 kilometers according to the sign anyway. I think it was slightly further than that to get to the mine site, but I did veer off to that other side as well. So about 6 k's you can sort of expect to get out here. If you were planning on walking it from the township or driving it anyway, it gives you a bit of an idea. There's actually one guy pulled up to camp here. He's got the funniest little setup. I don't know what the go is with that. But the majority of campers, like I can't see why you couldn't camp up here. The majority of campers are actually back down in the town, not up at the mine. So I'm going to do the same thing. I really like the idea of camping in a little ghost town sort of thing. And plus you've got like good concrete slabs there, so it'll be nice and flat and everything else. And you're not completely in the middle of nowhere, which is also kind of nice. So I'll just show you quickly, seeing as I'm already driving around, I think I'm going to do a quick lap and show you guys around town. So welcome to Mary Kathleen, everybody. This is officially the abandoned town, and if you can see, basically everywhere that you see a caravan when I drive around here, or a van or a tent or whatever else, is basically a slab where a house or a building used to be. Also, there's a whole bunch of cows, so whether this is cattle property now, I don't know. I do know that it's privately owned, and it's very, very good of the owners to obviously let people camp here. But yeah, it must be either cattle property or just privately run cattle. I really don't know. But regardless, it is still a pretty important historical site. So I'm going to take you for a little bit of a cruise around. So this here, guys, is the town square. So obviously where all the cows are, there would have been a heap of people here. There is a notice board, billboard, information board, I think is the right word, just there. I will pop up a photo for you guys so you can sort of read that as well if you are interested. But obviously lots of campers here. This was the main section. I think they had a post office here, some shops. All of these concrete slabs were basically something of importance in the town. So not too many people camped here. I'm just going to drive back as well. I don't want to stay in the town square with everyone else. I'm going to drive a little bit further out to camp, I think. But there are definitely a fair few people around here, that's for sure. And I'm thinking somewhere just here on the left is where I'm going to set up tonight. I like the look of some of these little slabs. They're a little bit further out from the center, which I kind of like. I kind of like my space. But as well, yeah, I do want to drive back to the front to show you guys, do a proper tour, I think. So unfortunately no buildings left, like I think I was saying, but yeah, all those slabs so you can still make out basically where everything is. So I'll just pull up at this one and jump out and show you guys. Alright, Alright, so I've just pulled up my car here. It's actually all fine, the tires are all good. I'm very, very impressed. So I've pulled up here at this slab basically that I was just telling you, and I'm just quickly going to show you around. So unfortunately I couldn't actually tell you what building this was. I'd say it's got to have been a hall or something with like the massive size, but right down here as well you can see the outline here basically of another rectangle that would have been a building, and then this is the main sort of section up here. You've got a few stairs left up here, but it's just so hard to like look around at this and basically imagine like, okay, this was a fully functioning town. I think it said something like 1,000 people or something literally lived here when it was fully functional, or I'm not even sure, but a fair few came and went and did different things and were working on the mine way out there, but it's just nothing now. I just find that incredible. I mean, you've got the highway runs along here and you wouldn't even know. You could drive right past it if it wasn't signed and not have a clue all of this was there. So I think from here there is like some more ruins down here. This road, I came from that way, the road keeps going down here, but at the moment I'm going to drive back down around to my, or pick a site for a campsite anyway, and camp around there like I was telling you guys. So I'll jump back over. I do want to find a little bit of firewood basically before it gets too dark, because I'd say it will be very, very cold again tonight. Awfully hot today, but yeah, just the temperature drops like crazy overnight out in the Outback. So I'll head back down there and set up site with you guys. So I've just jumped back in. I'm obviously going to double back on that little stretch I just drove. Over to the left here of me, that's where you do come in essentially. I might set up one of these here for tonight. If I back up a little bit. There we go. And I can drive straight onto my slab. There's also like really nice, so these couple trees here, there's just a little bit of shade. But that'll be perfect for me tonight. I'll camp just here. Alrighty, so I have just set up camp here on my little slab, basically on the outskirts of town. So I'm rich enough to live in town, but I like to stay on the outside essentially here. And I have just gone and collected some firewood. There's a whole heap of dry sticks basically everywhere out here. I've got some little stuff, so I'm just gonna set up a fire here basically to the side of my slab. I thought it would be a nice little spot. I've got my camp chair basically, so I'll set up here for the night. Have this beautiful landscape around me, beautiful sunset colours. Got camp neighbours, but nothing too close, so I'm really happy here. Anyway, it's still hot at the moment, so I'm going to set this up. Then I'm assuming as soon as the sun actually goes down, it'll get cool. So I'll set that up and then tell you guys a little bit more about this ghost town, or some stories at least that I've heard about it. So as well as fire starters, because you know the whole reduce, reuse, recycle. I don't have any, normally newspapers would be really good. Currently I have a brochure of Normanton, but I've been through Normanton, so it's about to make a really good fire starter. I'm finding you gotta use something once and then find another purpose for it. Okay, I think that should do me for now. Okay, so now that I am all set up here essentially, and that is burning nicely, I wanted to tell you what a lady I met the other day told me about here, basically. So I have camped the last few nights at Corella Dam, or on the creek just off from Corella Dam essentially, and one of my sort of camp neighbours, the lady I met anyway staying there, was telling me that she'd stayed out here and she can apparently see ghosts. So of course I was like, oh, that's super interesting. I don't know what you believe about supernatural. Personally, I can't say I've had any supernatural experiences to confirm or deny that, but she was telling me that she basically can see ghosts, and when she came out here she felt like it was really safe, really beautiful, which I totally agree with. Like, it's a gorgeous spot. But she reckoned she'd taken a photo and you could see a ghost in it. And I was like, interesting. I don't know about that. Like, what do you mean you can see a ghost? So she comes back over with her iPhone, pulls out this picture, and she said obviously her husband's, like, they've got their caravan behind them, right? And she's taking the photo from over here. Her husband's here, and then there's no one else supposedly around. Now it looks like, you know when you take a photo and someone moves and it blurs the image? There is clearly two figures in the image. So she did show me, obviously, herself. So her husband, it looks like, is moving, but it also looks like there's another figure in front of him or like near him on the chair sort of thing, but they're both blurry. So her husband's blurry and so is this other figure. And you could very easily say, oh, it's just the one person, it's just blurred. But I mean, on iPhone, if you try and take a photo and someone moves, does it really blur that easily? I don't know. So I don't know what you personally think. That's the story I was told. I don't know what I think about that. Okay, so a little bit more on there, and I think that should catch back on nicely. So personally, as I said, I haven't really had any ghost experiences. I'm not necessarily a believer about that, but I have had a few experiences which I thought were a little bit weird. So my first one, essentially, I was at home and I was with two mates and we went to a haunted park because that's, I don't know, something that we thought was a good idea. We watched a whole bunch of movies, like as in horror movies, and then drove out to a haunted park in the middle of the night, essentially. And it was probably only like an hour from where we were, so nothing too ridiculous. But basically the story goes, it used to be a Lions park and it was literally a playground sort of thing. And apparently a little girl fell off the swing and hit her head or something and unfortunately passed away. That's the story anyway. And since then the park's fully overgrown, so once you go in you can still see like the Lions Park sign sort of thing in the entry. So it definitely was a park and it definitely is overgrown now, but there's still bits of pathways you can walk and everything. So we went in there middle of the night and everything and walked all around these pathways. We found like a bench seat sort of thing. We couldn't find a playground necessarily, but there's rumors of different sort of stories that happened, like what went down there as well, because I mean, as soon as you have somewhere that's a ghost town or haunted, like everyone makes up their own version. So we went there anyway, and we'd watched all these scary movies and we were like, ooh, it's spooky. I mean, nothing weird happened essentially until, I mean, we were all like pushing each other going like, oh, gotcha, scary. But yeah, nothing weird happened until we went back to basically like the entrance to the park sort of thing. We took a photo and I don't have the photo because it's on one of the guys I was with. It's on his phone and I'm no longer in touch with him, but I swear to God we looked at it and it looks exactly like a figure or something is in the background of the photo, and there was definitely no one else there. It was the three of us. It was at night time, like you have to drive there and it was only our car there. So as I said, I can't show you the photo because I don't have it. I'd love to see it again myself, but it just a weird coincidence, something weird with the lighting. It definitely looked like there was something in the background. So then the second time and only other time that I've sort of experienced something even remotely like that, I was out with an ex-partner actually, and we had again gone, I can't remember if it was afternoon or night time, because I mean, I don't know why we were out at night, but we were just doing stuff. And we went to this waterfall essentially. I'm pretty sure it was afternoon. We went down there, it's sort of getting late and you have to walk down. It's a public waterfall, but you have to sort of go through a fence because it's like a little, a secret spot basically. So we walked down there and you have to walk through like a cattle paddock to get there, and you walk down the hill and you go into all these trees and everything, and then you can sit on the edge of the rocks overlooking the waterfall, which goes down into this big pond essentially. And I swear to God, we got down there and I've been there a whole bunch of times before. It's normally a really safe, really beautiful spot. I really love it. But I got down there and this feeling sort of came over me. I was like something was watching you, and I mean, there's no one else around. Like you have to walk. It's a really decent walk, like down a hill, over a creek, through a cattle paddock to get there. So it's a fair way, but it's like a really beautiful spot. And yeah, seriously, it was like there was another presence there, and we couldn't see anyone. There was no cars parked where we'd parked, and that's the only way down there. And then I was sort of like, oh, that's weird, I'm just feeling it. But then my partner at the time turns to me and says exactly the same thing, like it feels like there's something else here or something watching us. And I mean, it may well have been like a cow up in the paddock, but I mean, normally, I mean, there's cows around here and I don't feel that weird feeling sort of thing. So that was a pretty creepy experience. Like normally I would have thought like, oh, it's getting on dusk sort of thing. I'm just getting a bit paranoid because we're out in the bush. But no, it was definitely a feeling, and the fact that he said it too just sort of made me go, oh, that's so creepy. So camping out here tonight, I really don't get any weird sort of feeling at all. It feels really peaceful, essentially, really lovely. But it'll be interesting, maybe in the middle of the night I'll wake up and go, oh. But at the same time, there is no bad history here sort of thing, or as far as I'm aware. As I said, I've still had no service to do any research on this place. I did have a quick read of the board before, but it sounds more like it was a town and then it was abandoned, like so many of the other towns around here, purely because it became no longer profitable to run the mine, or they'd exhausted all the ore in the area. So I don't think there was too much like criminal stuff or anything nasty going on here. Now I'm gonna basically chill here for a little while. It's gonna get pretty dark, I think, so I'm not gonna be able to film much else at this point, but I'm just gonna have a campfire, as you can see, make a bit of dinner in a moment, and then probably hang around for a little while in the morning as well. So guys, just before it gets dark, if you guys have had any experiences at all, I would love to know, and by that I mean like ghost stories sort of thing, or if you believe yourself or you don't, or you've got your own opinion on it, or if you've even come here, I would love to hear about it. See, obviously everyone has their own experiences, and those are just a couple of mine, so I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Anyway, I'm gonna go enjoy my fire, so I'll catch you guys all a bit later, or in the morning I think, and just have a bit more of a look around before I head out of here. Good morning everybody. So obviously I survived the night here in the ghost town. I still got my PJs on sort of thing, so I don't mind that, but it was like a really quiet sort of place to be, except for these guys. Like if you can see, there's a cow behind me. They'll randomly like come near your camp at night and just like move. Last night I thought it was the weirdest thing. I was like, there's something really big outside, but it's just a cow. So these guys have been hanging around. There's like a few of them like over this side and stuff as well. So a few cows, as I was saying, it is probably cattle property, being private property here. But yeah, they just walk through like all the remnants of the town sort of thing. But otherwise it was a really peaceful spot to stay. So yeah, that was my little visit basically. Nice to know now. A shame, I would have liked to have seen the water really blue in the quarry essentially, but you know, timing didn't work out, and I do still have like a pretty good understanding of what it sort of looks like. So I would drive back up there this morning, but I don't want to put my car through that, to be honest. Like even though it's only 6Ks, it's too far for me to be motivated enough to walk the 6Ks after going there already yesterday, and it's too far for my little car to risk sort of puncturing a tyre this morning, I think. So I am obviously about to head off now. I'm actually headed to Mount Isa today, but I do thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this little look sort of thing, but I'm not sure what adventures I have planned there yet, but I'm sure I'll catch you guys all soon.